Hello guys, my name is Ausra and welcome to my podcast Thinking in Sound. And today is already episode number 20. Wow, small anniversary. I'm really happy about it. And I want to thank all my listeners and who follows my channel and subscribes to my channel and listens to my podcast. So today I'm going to talk about how to compose for a small versus large organ. So really, I think it's a very important thing to think about before starting composing for organ, because small organ and large organ is really not the same. And for example, at the Vilnius University where I work and at Vidas works, we have two small organs which have only one keyboard and small pedal board, and this really huge tracker organ with 64 stops, 3 keyboards and huge pedal division. And well, administration sometimes wants to or at least wanted in the past, for example, to switch the venue for the concert, for a recital, organ recital, and we could not comprehend that you cannot adapt and play the same repertoire which you prepare for the large organ on that small organ, one manual organ. And well, how do you explain for people who has no understanding whatsoever about the organ that if let's say you're playing Bach's ornamented chorale, which needs to have a solo voice for the one manual and accompaniment on the other manual, and it has sort of really developed and advanced pedal part that you cannot, let's say, play on the organ which has no pedals. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you, that it's very important for you to decide before starting to compose what organ will which piece be written for. Well, because of course you can maybe adjust some things, but really there are crucial points that you cannot adjust, and there are always specific points that need to be really clear. If the piece is written with a pedal part, so organ must have pedal. If let's say it's like a fugue, Bach's fugue, or you are writing your own fugue, then of course you can do it for one manual organ with the pedals. But if it has nice solo melodies and like dynamic contrasts, then of course you need to keep in mind organ with more manuals than just one. Okay, now I'll just take a quick sip of water from our beautiful Secrets of Organ Playing mug. Okay, and now let me tell one moment from my experience as a composer, about my Pavana and Gaillarda, which I recently played in the Museum of the Church Heritage here in Vilnius, and actually I think it was a very successful piece for that kind of instrument. Of course, I did not compose it for this specific instrument, but I composed it keeping in mind little historical organ, and I think this was a really good concept, and it worked really well, even so well that one of our friends, organist, James D. Hicks, decided to record it and to include this particular two dances into his CD on the historical organ in Ugali, Latvia, which is probably the oldest organ in the Baltic region out of 3 Baltic states. So I feel really honored, and I think that I probably did some wise choices while, selecting, the model of the instrument on which these two dances should be performed. At the beginning, I remember I thought maybe I need to add pedals, but then I decided that no, most, not all, but really many historical organs, at, let's say, early Baroque or, did not have pedal boards or had sort of very small pedal board. So I realized that it will be safer, to compose these two pieces just for manual, and for actually one manual too. And of course, even in this piece at Church Heritage Museum, I had to do some adjustment at the very end, because my last chords of my Gaillarda had to be played an octave higher, but the diapason of the diapason of this organ was a little bit, narrower, so I had to play those chords an octave lower. So such a small adjustment, but everything else worked just fine. So always keep in mind what instrument your piece will be performed on, and choose wisely. And the same applies not only if you are composing, music for organ, but if you are selecting a repertoire for, let's say, your upcoming concert trip for a specific organ. You really need to find as much information about that specific instrument as possible. The compass of the keyboards and pedal board, if it has pedals, how many, manuals it has, what style of this instrument is, if it's, let's say, universal and any type of music can play it on it, of its specific historic instrument, and choose your repertoire accordingly, because otherwise you can be really disappointed. Because if you will choose the right music for the right instrument, or compose right music for the right instrument, it fits like a glove, and then you will be really happy and really satisfied with the result of it, because it goes both ways. The result can be surprisingly good, and if you will not take important things into consideration, the result might be disastrous. So I'm wishing you, only pleasant experience with your compositions and your performance. So be mindful and think few steps ahead. It's always good for us organists, to be clever and to think about things in advance, while it's not too late, to change things. Okay, guys, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in my next episode next week. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do it. I appreciate your help and support, and see you next time. Bye bye.